Hey guys, Jamie here. No Jack this week. He's out in Miami. Wadapalooza is calling, and hopefully we'll be able to see on YouTube all of the hard work everyone's been putting in. I'm here to run through the week of the next week's programming, shall I say, the week commencing the 17th. And we kick off with some back squats. So the last couple of weeks, we've kind of been creating quite a lot of soreness in people's legs with that big varied rep range. We'll continue on. This is the lowest the rep range will get. We've got a 12, a 9, a 6 and a 3. Hopefully we're encouraging our members to go a little bit heavier each time. It isn't one of our main training focuses as a general overview for JST Train. As we've outlined in previous videos, what our main focuses are within the weightlifting of the squat clean. But again, for some members, either new members or members that are trying to gain some strength, this will be an important session for them. So give them the time, give them the effort, and have them focus their energy on trying to develop some leg strength, because that's ultimately going to build your base for them when you get onto your squat cleans. So we're going every 3 minutes this week, so the rest period's slightly reduced, so everything's a bit more condensed. That allows us to spend a bit more time on the workout, and our workout's going every 5 minutes for 3 sets, and we've got kind of 4 movements that 9 times out of 10 will come up in the CrossFit Open. In these capacities are going to be quite tough to maintain a good pace. So we've got rowing, power snatches with a lightweight, wall balls, and then ultimately some pull-in fatigue coming right at the end with 15 chest to bars. Now there's a time cap on the workout. Within that, if you kind of hit the time cap, it's a minute per movement. But looking at these moves, we're looking at the row to come in around about 40 seconds, nothing too crazy. Power snatches, we want to go for a couple of big sets. You probably want to have the capacity to be able to go unbroken. But then do you do that to save some of your grip for those chest to bars later down the line? You can kind of decide. A personal option for me with a power snatch is a strong movement for me. I would take it as easy as possible so that when I get to my chest to bars, I have enough energy. Wall balls, we want to just knock out nice and easy, bang them out, them 15. So get your members to drop the loading down if they need to maintain the unbroken nature. And then chest to bars. What we're looking at here, we want people to really test their grip endurance. So can they get there in a couple of sets? Do they have to be smart and do a 6, a 5 and a 4? And just remember those scaling options are there. What we don't want to see is someone come in to that chest to bar and then do 2 or 3 and then have to wait around for 30 seconds for their arms to come back. So just be hot on the warm-ups and making sure people are understanding that this is thick and fast. We want to be able to move quickly and see what we've got under fatigue. So nice, simple Monday in some respects, but a good bit of intensity to kind of kick ourselves off. So moving on to the Tuesday. We've got a bit of a primer to get ourselves started and some skill work. So kind of a primer for those members that are quite experienced, and good opportunity to practice the hang clean in isolation if you're a newer member. So kind of dialing in that skill. So understanding the difference between the two there is hugely important. What I mean by that is if you have a beginner working in isolation, maybe every block of the hang cleans there, you end up doing them as sets of 3, even not the go every minute where it gets heavier, just because their loading's not going to be as heavy as someone who's maybe more experienced. So from a percentage point of view, the newer member might not jump up in percentage, they might just stay working, and that will increase the intensity because the overall time frame that they have to do them will decrease. For the more experienced member, it's a way of getting some load through the body. Obviously, their legs will feel pretty toasty potentially from the day before, but this is a good way to kind of get that clean moving smooth for the workout to come. So that workout, 12-minute ladder. Hopefully, you guys will have seen the similarities between this and the CrossFit Open workout. That's quite popular. They've used it a couple of times in the CrossFit circles. Toes to bar, double unders and squat cleans. Now this kind of is more towards our squat clean endurance focus, again with some non-complementary fatigue. So grip and midline from the toes to bar, and then you're looking at kind of that aerobic fatigue and that shoulder fatigue from the double unders. So just to make you aware, I'll give you an idea on the format. There's no breaks between it like the CrossFit Open workout. You are rolling straight through this, so pacing is going to be hugely important. That first bar is going to be quite tough for a lot of members. But again, the good news is they're not going to get capped out. So if you have a member that wants to do the open, like RX and that kind of stuff, having them exposed to those loads straight away is not going to be the end of the world, because 12 minutes is going to kind of roll around quite quickly. Other things to consider, certainly when I've done this workout, the clean and those stronger members are never really going to worry about the loading on the cleans. It's only ever going to be the interference work, so the toes to bar and the double unders. And that's what makes this such a great workout. Most people look at the loadings and go, oh, it's going to be too heavy for me. But ultimately, you've got to get there for it to happen. So that's the great thing about CrossFit Open workouts. They dangle the carrot and they kind of say, oh, you're going to be able to lift that weight. But then ultimately, you can't get there. So breaking up the toes to bar, smart sets, quick sets of 5 will be a good way to kind of keep that pace and that grip endurance kind of under control. Double unders, hopefully you'll be able to hit those straight out. With the toes to bar, bring the number down. You're looking at maybe 90 seconds worth of toes to bar if you're unsure on the number, and then you maintain that throughout. But when toes to bar go, you just have to stand there and maintain it. So scaling options, bring the height of the legs down, bring the number of reps down. We can go to V-ups if we need to, or sit-ups if someone doesn't want to hang off the bar. Double unders, do the number, bring the number down but have a set number, or maybe 40 seconds worth of practice on the double unders. Certainly know that at Blitz we're getting quite a lot of traction for setting time frames, which for one preserves the stimulus, but secondly it gets people to practice the movement rather than going, right, stock answer of 100 single unders. Again, it can be there if someone's just trying to develop the single under as a skill, but ultimately for someone to get double unders, they need to be practicing. On the squat cleans, touch and go versus singles. If you're looking at this and thinking the first bar is light enough, maybe sets of 3 to 5 touch and go to begin with, but you don't want to see your heart rate start to skyrocket. Okay, if that's the case, you need to back off the pace of these and then just maintain the pace as you're rolling through, because your heart rate's already going to be starting to raise after those double unders. We want to just try and maintain it. So then when we come in to the second set of toes to bar, you've got a bit about you. What weight should you start at? What weight should you finish at? Again, I'm having these one-way conversations with myself. You should start at a weight that shouldn't fill you with fear, roughly 40 to 50% of your 1 rep max. So it should be quite light. We should be able to get through those 15 in roughly a minute, maybe just over a minute. And then after that, the weight gets significantly more challenging. I've put around 6 in there. Doing the maths, I don't think anyone within the regular gym population is going to be getting to that round 6. The sheer volume of toes to bar and double unders, most people are going to be kind of in that 9, 7s, and then possibly one person might be in the toes to bar double unders on the round of 5. If you have anyone that gets to the round of 6, rather than just you win a prize, you could probably go to maybe 135 and just over 100 kilos. Make sure you film it and we'll sign them up under the JST banner as an athlete. So moving on, the Wednesday, our gymnastics progressions. So second week of this, 8-minute EMOM. I feel kind of from my experience of coaching the test and then into week number 1, which I'd done the other day. Week number 1 was, from a coaching perspective, very, very tough, because you have a big varied range of members' abilities. And because the rings are kind of here, there and everywhere, it tends to be one of those tough ones to manage. But moving forward to week number 2, when I asked the question to our members, who's done the test from the week before, I reckon I had 2 classes that were about 50-50 split, and then I had 1 class where near enough everyone had done the week before. So the one that I had the majority of people, I still rolled through the scales, but I was guiding people towards what they did last week. And then the groups that were 50-50, I still started at that lowest common denominator of the ring rows on the box. But then people that were up on the high rings, I told them what they were going to be doing, and then I let them start warming up, and I had a side eye on them, whereas I could still focus on those people that were trying to develop the low ring pull and then the muscle up. Feedback wise for that, if you have any feedback or if you have any issues kind of getting through, this is one of the areas that if you can become really confident at coaching the ring muscle up, it's going to be gold. Members are going to really lap it up, and then they're going to see the value in the offering of the coached class. Moving on, another partner workout. Wednesday's kind of become a bit synonymous with I work really hard and then I'll take a rest day. And this is no different. So 14-minute AMRAP in pairs, you go, I go. So 30 dumbbell snatch, 15 burpee box jump overs. So this is a slightly longer you go, I go. So if we think back to the week before, we had calories on the rower and thrusters. That was happening every minute to a minute and 10 before you switched. This is a longer, more sustained interval. So from a scaling perspective for those more beginner members, really dig down and make sure the member doesn't go too heavy. These dumbbell snatches want to be unbroken. Now, they're not going to be easy. The back third of these reps are going to be tough, but we just need to make sure that the members are not biting off more than they can chew. They're not having to break. They're not having to kind of stop, have a look around at their partner and realize they're kind of slowing everything down. So lighter than you think, and then get onto those burpee box jump overs. Practice them as a skill. Okay, burpee box jump overs, stay nice and low. Do you land slightly side on with a staggered stance, sliding that foot off of the box, and then really start to hammer it home, knowing that you're going to get a couple of minutes rest. Real intensity check for the members. We're looking at maybe 3 rounds each on that one, and make sure you hammer it. Thursday. We've done handstands for the last couple of Thursdays into kind of a shorter, more intense WOD, whereas this throws the rule book out the window. With Miko's triangle, everyone's been there. Anyone on a comp program will have done the Miko triangle in some form or other. Great base fitness workout. So provided 3 options. You guys choose one of the options. Hopefully that's obvious that you don't do all 3. And it's really dependent on what equipment you have. So there's one where we can do the traditional Miko where you have all the kit and you can rotate around. Again, you'd be quite lucky in a gym if you have that and be able to run it as a class rather than just as an individual. Then more than likely you'll be options number 2 or 3. That's where you have a couple of pieces of cardio kit. I know that's where Blitz will stand. And on that third option is where you have one piece of cardio kit where we've put in some double unders as a bit of skill work and then some running in there as well. Feel free to mix and match if you feel like you've got another option in there, but just make sure it's a monostructural or an aerobic style movement where you're able to just steadily move. Acutely aware that there was burpees the day before, okay, but just make sure that people are getting a good solid movement and it's 45 to 50 seconds before you move into the next station. Moving on to the Friday. We haven't done one of these before. It kind of come up in the JST athlete program and it really stuck out to me as a good start point for us to do a gymnastics EMOM. We've done them in isolation and we've done them in workouts, but where we haven't done a purely gymnastics focused EMOM. So EMOM 20, we've got strict handstand push-ups in the first minute. We've got some strict toes to bar in the next minute. And then ultimately what your members will come for is the rope climb. A couple of rope climbs, then we get a rest. So how do we even start with this? There's a lot of skill work to be dialing in. So notice the workout that comes after it is really simple, really easy. And some people will want to get themselves a massive workout there, but a lot of your members will come in focused on the gymnastics. And from a coaching point of view, that's where you can get your biggest wins. So rolling through the skill work, we've got strict handstand push-ups. We can reduce the number. We've got negatives. Also, we can put some kipping in there if we're now getting into the open territory. Now, what I mean by that is, I think Jack and I both agree on this. Kipping handstand push-ups for ourselves are one of those movements that you kind of have the skill dialed in and then you leave it boxed off. Focus on your strict work, focus on your headstands, and the kipping will be fine. Just because of the force going through your neck when you're going through kipping handstand push-ups, and too much volume makes everything nice, really sore. So for some members, if they don't have them or if they're on the verge of getting them, having a couple of practice sessions before the CrossFit Open rolls about is possibly beneficial. Don't coach it, just have it in and then have your eyes on when you're there. Strict toes to bar, deceptively tough movement. Now, with these ones, just limit them. They're there to kind of fatigue the grip and the skill, and then just make sure that we tuck those knees in, reduce the range of motion, or we can go to the lying down, holding the kettlebell or the dumbbell behind our head, strict raises. these are going to pre-fatigue you for bringing your legs up on the rope climb. We provided quite a few times the rope climb tutorial video. Check it out again. Give it to your coaches, just because it's a nice entry point. You'll all hopefully agree that a lot of members that are new, they come in, they see the ropes, they're like, there's no way I can do that. If you explain to them, if you can hang off the pull-up bar for 10 seconds, if you can do an air squat, you can climb a rope. It's just about putting those skills in and getting yourself dialed in. With the rope climbs, if you want to challenge your members, you can make one of them or both of them legless if you're feeling like their upper body pull-in is seriously good. Give it a go. I would say that's pretty tough. There is a rest coming after it. The workout, really simple, really easy to get into, but still give it enough time to get yourself moving and warm. 6 rounds, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Try to use the same machine that you did your 10-minute bike test on, if that's possible. Obviously, it's not an ideal world, so if you can't, all right. But if you can, that'd be great. And with this, it is max effort. We'll really hit the hammer down. And with this, you'll probably see a decline in the number of calories. So in terms of scoring for you guys, if you want to just record total calorie effort, that's probably better than your lowest calorie effort, because that's not a true indication. If someone holds a high average, it means they haven't really gone hard enough at the start. So just explaining the difference between being consistent and then maybe pushing the intensity on this one and seeing a drop down. That's where you'll see the huge VO2 max gains on this kind of stuff. Saturday, big regionals day. So at Blitz, we'll be hosting the Southeast Regional, and then a few of you other guys will be hosting regionals around the country. And I thought I'll put this workout in. There are some small tweaks to it to make it fit one within an hour's class, give the members enough time, and then I've also removed something. But the general gist is there. So the workout and the complex is in. So 10-minute window, clean, front squat, hang squat clean, and then shoulder to overhead. I've given 10 minutes, which is a little bit longer, but you'd start from an empty bar, whereas on the Super Saturday program, you'd probably build up to roughly 70%, and then we'll set that 6-minute window to kind of recreate the competition style element of the time stress. With this, dial in your clean warm up. Super, super important to just build good quality movement and then make sure everything's smooth before you start. Good thing that I've been using with the members is if you put a weight on, certainly when it's lighter, do a couple of sets with it. I'd certainly advocate that now. And then if you hit a weight and you're not happy with it, you step forward, step backwards on the jerk. If something goes wrong through the clean and you see the members that kind of catch high and then start to ride down, get them to do the same weight again. There is no reason why you should be just jumping weights after poor reps. The workout. Sandy Savagery, I think this is called. Pretty tough workout. From a logistics point of view, good one. 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. So you've got members sharing bits of cardio kit and also their dumbbells. And I would say from a coached class point of view, when you have members working and resting, the energy stays high across the board. If you've ever done one of those classes where it's like 2 minutes on, everyone's going, good energy, and then 2 minutes off, the energy of the room just starts to significantly drop. It is a good opportunity to get some coaching points in because everyone's heart rate's coming back down. But I feel you can do that when you're in your 2 minutes rest and the other group are going. So have that in your mind. It keeps the energy high. Certainly on a Saturday, that's what you're after. We've got snatches. We've got dumbbell thrusters with 2 dumbbells. We've got the dreaded devil press. A small number of burpees over the rower. And then in the remaining time of those 2 minutes each time, max calories on the machine. Scoring wise, just come away with one big score of those calories. You may not get them every single time depending on how much you fatigue and drop off. Coaching this. Obviously you've spent a good bit of time on the skill element of the clean and jerk. With the dumbbell snatch and the dumbbell thrusters and the devil's press, just be focused on dumbbell line of motion. So when that dumbbell's coming up, make sure it's not coming away from the body. That's probably the big focus for me when I'm coaching it, because it's quite easy for the dumbbell to get away from the body and the member not notice. It's more obvious with the barbell. So just make sure you have that in mind as a coach. Little side view, see how that dumbbell's coming out and away from the body, and then try and cue people to come in a bit closer. It's simple, not easy, this workout. So get your members to really jack it up, get the music, get the energy. And the last thing to note with this is that if members were a bit nervous about coming to one of the regional events, I know a few of the members at Blitz have that apprehension about coming, I wouldn't announce that this is the workout. I would just let them find out if they find out. And then once they've done it, and then you do the regionals in the afternoon and we get all the content, you'll probably get members coming to you going, I'm interested, I'm not sure if I'm able to do it. And then you tell them that you did the workout on the Saturday morning already. That should hopefully break one of those barriers down. That's my plan. And hopefully that will kind of give them the confidence for the next one. They can look to sign up and then get themselves in. Last but not least, we haven't missed out on handstands this week. We've just moved them to the Sunday. So the Sunday mover, some single arm handstands where you can alternate sides every 15 seconds. Or if someone's trying to improve their handstand, we've got an alternative version of chest facing handstand hold, kick back down and then kick up with your back facing handstand. Everything works off of the same time frame there. So you can got the more advanced members on the single work versus the double arm work. Everyone should be working at the same time. Moving into some wall walk, box ticking. Keep practicing those. One every 30 seconds will be quite tough for 12 sets. Again, that's another 6 minutes. And then everyone's favorite thoracic extension movement. As you can see, my shoulders need to come back a bit. Every 2 minutes, 12 of those overhead plate box step ups. For a lot of members, bring the height of the box down. The weight doesn't have to be too heavy. We've put out as an ideally a 20 and a 15 kilo plate, but for some of you that might be just holding a 5 or a 10, working on extension, make sure we're not leaning back or arching, fixing that midline nice and tight. Short, sharp workout, getting ourselves primed for the following week. So we've got some Russian swings, we've got some midline sit-ups, some good quality push-ups, and then a good flush out on the legs with a 400-meter run. Aiming for 2 to 3 rounds here, nice steady pace. For your beginner members who are a bit worried about the volume, just knock off 5 reps. Okay, drop the loading down, swings should be unbroken, and then we want to make sure that those push-ups are good quality. Go kneeling, use a box, keep those elbows in nice and tight. Wonderful. So that's the week. Obviously, there's not been too much backwards and forwards because it is literally just me. Things to cover, just make sure, give us some feedback on those ring muscle ups. We've covered those squat cleans, and then we're making sure that we're getting that general capacity. As you can see, Saturday's workout is a great training aid for our JST baseline. That took some souls. So have a good week, guys. Look after yourselves.